A plan to subvert the Catholic Church has been underway for a long time. Now, with the death of Pope Francis, many say we have reached the final point, the last conclave. Dark forces are moving in the shadows, determined to change everything forever. Stay until the end to find out what is really happening. On April 21st, 2025, the world witnessed the twilight of a pontificate that marked one of the most dramatic phases in the 2,000-year history of the Catholic Church. The death of Pope Francis, celebrated by many as the end of a season of openness and dialogue, sounds instead for others like the last alarm bell before the great showdown. Behind the official expressions of mourning and the solemn funerals, there is in fact an ancient plan, born far from the spotlight, in the silence of Swiss salons and in progressive gatherings. The plan of those who have been plotting for years to subvert the Catholic faith, not through open persecution, but through the slow erosion of its foundations. Now, with the sede vacante, the real battlefield opens up. The imminent conclave may not choose a simple successor, but the final architect of a project studied for decades, aimed at transforming the Church into something that is Catholic only in name. In the heart of Europe, far from prying eyes, a group of high prelates met annually in the Swiss city of St. Gallen. This group, known as the St. Gallen Mafia, consisted of progressive bishops and cardinals who shared a reformist vision of the Catholic Church. Among the best-known members were Cardinal Carlo Maria Martini, Cardinal Gottfried Daniels, Cardinal Walter Kasper, and Cardinal Karl Lehmann. According to revelations in Daniels's authorized biography, these meetings were intended to discuss strategies for promoting greater collegiality in the Church, reducing Roman centralism, and addressing controversial issues such as sexual morality and the role of women. The group also reportedly sought to influence papal conclaves, opposing the election of conservative cardinals like Joseph Ratzinger and supporting more progressive candidates like Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Journalist Julia Maloney, in her book, The St. Gallen Mafia, Exposing the Secret Reformist Group Within the Church, argues that this group played a key role in the election of Pope Francis in 2013, pushing forward a reformist agenda that has profoundly affected his pontificate. Critics such as Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano have denounced the influence of the St. Gallen Mafia, accusing it of orchestrating a plot to subvert the Church's traditional doctrine. Cardinal Robert Serra also denounced the existence of a diabolical plan aimed at breaking the tradition of the Church, attacking in particular the traditional Mass. For him, this dark plan wants to erase the sense of the sacred, distance the faithful from authentic worship, and reduce faith to a simple human expression without any more divine roots. The next conclave will not be simply a normal papal election. It will be the culmination of a project carefully prepared for decades, a refoundation of the Church desired by the supporters of the St. Gallen Mafia and their spiritual heirs. As Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano has denounced, the deep church, the parallel church infiltrated by modernist forces, has worked incessantly to build a new religion, no longer founded on the redemption of Christ, but on a vague universal philanthropy, a secular humanism disguised as charity. Cardinal Gerhard Müller has spoken openly of a great apostasy underway, emphasizing how a part of the current hierarchy seems oriented towards emptying Catholic doctrine to make it compatible with the globalist agenda. And it is no coincidence that he has recently spoken openly of a schism. According to increasingly insistent rumors, the favorite candidates of this progressive party are already ready. Cardinals shaped by the ideology of St. Gallen, capable of speaking the language of the world and accelerating the definitive collapse of the last doctrinal resistances. If they win, it will not only be a change of style or pastoral care, it will be the end of the Church as we have known it, an irreversible transition to a post-Catholic structure, no longer faithful to Christ, but to the new dogmas of global humanitarianism. The most reliable sources, those that do not bow to political correctness, indicate that Cardinals Casper, Tagel, Zuppi, and Hollerich represent the soul of this project. It is not so much a question of names as of ideology. A pope who will see in the permanent synod the new model of government of the Church, emptying the figure of the Vicar of Christ to replace him with that of a simple moderator among bishops who are increasingly autonomous and less bound to the truth. Archbishop Vigano warned that the next pontiff could be the true Pope of humanity, no longer the successor of Peter, but the promoter of a humanitarian religion ready to sacrifice dogma on the altar of a new world brotherhood. Cardinal Miller spoke of a genetic mutation of the Church, a denatured, hybridized organism incapable of recognizing itself. Under his pontificate, we will probably see the formal consecration of what has already been prepared. The blessing of irregular unions, the opening of the female priesthood in the form of the diaconate, the definitive renunciation of the mission of evangelization so as not to offend other religions, the transformation of parishes into social centers, the shelving of the Roman liturgy to make room for new fluid and intercultural ritual forms. He will be a pope who will no longer divide between truth and error, between right and wrong, but only between inclusive and exclusive, between modern and backward. And to do so, it will necessarily have to remove every last bastion of orthodoxy that remains. Faithful seminaries will be persecuted, traditional bishops marginalized, the faithful who want to remain Catholic as their fathers and saints, will have to live as clandestine immigrants in their own homes. This, if God does not intervene, is the future that awaits us, not a new pope, but the final liquidator of a church that was once the true bride of Christ. The new religion that is preparing to invade the church will be a parody of the gospel, a poisonous imitation of Christianity, built not on eternal salvation, but on earthly satisfaction, not on revealed truth, but on universal compromise. In this new temple, Christ will no longer be the king to be worshipped, but the symbolic inspiration of a social cause. The liturgy will be emptied, dogma will bend, morality will dissolve into the indistinct. And to us, children of tradition, there will be only one choice: to resist or succumb. To resist, even at the cost of marginalization, loneliness, persecution. Resist, to guard what remains of the faith transmitted by the martyrs, the saints, our fathers. Or succumb, delivering ourselves to global apostasy under the mask of mercy without truth. The approaching conclave will not simply elect a man. It will sanction, if God does not intervene, the fulfillment of a diabolical plan, or, by mysterious grace, the beginning of an unexpected resurrection. The battle has begun. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. What do you think? If you liked the video, comment Amen. God bless you.